Okay, once again we're in composition of functions, and what we're doing here is looking at the product and quotient of two functions. Now specifically for part B here we're looking at the quotient of f of x and g of x, where f of x is -2 and g of x is x minus 1. Now we're using x minus 2 here just to make this question a little bit simpler. Okay, we're not dealing with a complicated function, just a constant here. So this is going to end up being -2 over x minus 1. So now I already have a good sense of what that thing's got to look like as a graph here. But I'm going to take a look at the points here and see if I can't come up with a bit of the graph here, and then I'll rely on my knowledge of rationals to fill that in here. To start off with, let's take, for example, when x is equal to -3. When x is -3, okay, f of x is -2, and g of x is going to be -4. So that's going to be -2 divided by -4, so which will be +1/2. So at -3, it's going to go, I'm going to get that point right there. Maybe when I go at -1, f of x is -2, and g of x is also -2, and so when I divide those out, the quotient of those two is going to be +1. When I go over to +1, well, f of x stays at -2, but now g of x is equal to 0, and so that is going to leave me with an undefined. And we've seen enough of that before to see that that's probably a vertical asymptote. If I go one step further to 2, again, f of x is always -2, and now g of x is going to be +1, and when you divide that out, I'm going to get that value right there. And now I'll go maybe one step further here. Let's go where x is equal to 3, f of x is -2, g of x is +2, and so the quotient of those two is going to be +1. That's right, -1. Oh, and what just happened there? Oh, I'm sorry. I put that at -1. That should have been -2, and down here this will go down to -1. Sorry, I just put that one point in the wrong spot. Now, based on what I know of what rationals would look like, I can tell this thing's going to have this horizontal asymptote at 0, and it's got this vertical asymptote here at +1. So I can connect the dots, and I know it's going to look like a rational should look.